All right, y'all bear with me. I'm at my judicial conference, so I don't have all my normal equipment and stuff in front of me, so I'm kind of working here with the handicap, but all right. We got everybody that's gonna be participating on screen.
I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I appreciate everybody doing this on such short notice. But as y'all know, I had a lot of questions about this, so okay, I'll call what's been filed, cause number 100457 DFN. This is in the interest of Alia Yula, Adnan Yula, and Akram Osman. This is a request for an order for protection and removal of the children from the mother. It's Darlene Abdicarter. We also have several fathers in this case: Ramon Zani, Hussain Abdullah Liban, unknown fathers, and of course the department obviously is a party. I've requested that Ms. Zavala be present because if this goes to the next step, she's going to be involved, and I felt like this would be beneficial for her to be present today. I have scheduled this, as you all know. It's not very often that I actually conduct an ex parte hearing due to our caseloads, but I've thoroughly gone through this affidavit, and then I subsequently followed that up with an email to the department directed at investigations, asking a number of questions, things that I felt like, I wanted to try to have an answer to. And so I appreciate, Ms. Ponce, I appreciate you following up with some of that information. Because it's not contained in the actual affidavit, I wanted to go ahead and hold this hearing and get some of these things on the record. So we are recording this to the Zoom cloud today. I obviously don't have a reporter on such short notice. We are currently live streaming as well to comply with the Open Courts Act. Okay. Everybody good with doing this rather informally today?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Okay, the single biggest concern that I had with this situation and a request for a legal removal is that generally speaking, we don't remove children for poverty. Generally speaking, we don't remove children for homelessness. But the situation appears to be a little bit different in that, at least what I'm hearing and what I'm getting back is that all of mom's resources as a homeless individual have been exhausted. Normally when we get these, we may have homeless parents, but they are, at the Salvation Army, or they are in another shelter, or they are, at least getting assistance through some other, nonprofit or something. The way I read what's contained in the affidavit and then some of the follow-up information is that essentially beginning tonight, this family, the mother and 3 children ages 6, and 11, are going to be on the street. So, Ms. McCleskey, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct. And I know that Ms. Ponce has done some more investigating and looking at other resources, some that you suggested, and then following up with some others that she'd already been in contact with today.
Okay, I'd like to kind of discuss, I think, Ms. Ponce, I'm certainly not, my questions have not certainly meant to suggest that the department did not do or exercise reasonable efforts. I just had some questions that were unanswered by the affidavit. So I appreciate you responding to those. a lot of which had to do with family members. The affidavit referenced that mom had lived with some family members. Albeit maybe sort of couch surfing, but she was, under someone's roof. So my questions were regarding, where were those family members? Who are those family members? Can mom put us in contact with any of those family members? Was there any way to transport mom to any of those family members? Were they willing to take her and the children, at least on a temporary basis? I mean, that was that line of questioning. So I'd like to go ahead and swear Ms. Ponce in and get on the record some of the answers to those questions, and then we'll go into a few other things too. So, Ms. Ponce, today, will you solemnly swear or affirm to tell us the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. If you want to just sort of narratively outline to me some of that follow-up information.
Yes, ma'am. So I contacted today I contacted the city church and asked them, if they had any shelters or any resources or help with housing, and they do not. The only thing they could provide is on Wednesdays, like a hot meal for the kids and Bible study. Then I spoke to an individual at First Baptist Church and asked the same thing. And she said that they do not help with any housing or shelters or anything like that. The last person I the last place was the Catholic Family Charities. And I spoke with an individual there, and they have the Joseph program, which is a program for pregnant women, diapers, wipes, and then the hunger program, and that's only for elderly over the age of 50. I did leave a message regarding the refugee program, and so that was left there. I spoke to Heather Neely, which she's with the Coming Home program today, and she informed me that the resettlement program was closed and has been closed. So there's no resources regarding the refugee part of that of Catholic Charities as well. And then she does not have any other resources as of today either. I spoke to the families in transition as well this morning, and the same thing. She doesn't have any other resources for this family as of today. So those were kind of the follow-up things that I've done so far, as well as speaking with, the grandmother as well. And she could not provide me with any other family members either.
All right. And we are on YouTube, so I don't want to get into specifics, but grandmother really can realistically not take in mom or the other children because two of the children, I believe it was Alia and Adnan, may have been victims of criminal offense by a child that's present in her home.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. She just couldn't give us any lead on anyone else or any other family member.
No, ma'am, and she does not have a good relationship with her daughter as well due to the previous CPS case. So, and I know that several of the other community people have asked mom regarding family as well to kind of see if they, she would open up to them, and they've got the same answers that I've gotten.
All right. Do we know whether mom was legally married to either of the named fathers in this case?
She is not.
Okay. And from the ages and some information that you provided to me in that email, the ages of children, it appears that at least two of the children were born here in the United States.
Three. So Ali and Abdul were born in Tucson, Arizona, and then the oldest child was born in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
And I did find out that the mother is a permanent resident of the United States as well.
All right. All right, and so in advance of filing the affidavit and the request for the removal, you had checked all of our normal shelters, what we would consider sort of our normal channels.
Yes, ma'am, I did. I contacted several different ones within the the city, and also contacted some domestic violence shelters in Dumas, Pampa, and Lubbock, Texas, and they are unable to take her because there's no domestic violence or any current domestic violence. And I do know that Family Support Services has tried as well several different other community options as well, and there's been no luck there either. The housing and families in transition worker also has tried several different things, and they don't have any housing. Also with Heather Needley, she's with the Coming Home program, and there's nothing there either.
Okay, so we've tried most of the major shelters that we have available, at least locally. Obviously Salvation Army, we've discussed, I know the family, they have been there. They even extended, I guess, once, maybe twice. Faith City Mission, Martha's Home, Downtown Women's Center, we've, all of those avenues have been explored.
Yes,
Can I
ma'am, they
interrupt for a
have.
second? Melissa, can you tell her about Faith City Mission and mom's ability to stay there?
Yes, ma'am. So they do not take any male kids over the age of 10. And so since she has an 11-year-old, she's not able to stay there. And then my understanding is if the children had somewhere to go, then she would be able to stay there and to be able to stay there unlimited, work to get a job and seek assistance through that program, because she doesn't have the kids with her. So she could get a job, she could save money, you know, she could move on to like getting into housing and things like that and become stable. It's just right now they won't take her because of her 11-year-old son.
Would she be eligible to go into that same program if the two younger children were still with her?
I believe so, because it's anybody, it's 10 and over.
One of the sons is 9, isn't he, Melissa?
Yes, he's 9.
Do we know when his birthday is? How soon it is?
He is. He just turned 9 in May of this year.
Adnan?
Ollie,
Oh, Ollie, what's Ollie's date of birth?
May 19th, 2016.
Okay, we gotta get that corrected. May 19th of 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Yes, I'm sorry, Judge. I realized I had put that incorrect, but I forgot to change it before the
That-
hearing.
no problem. Okay. Do you know what, I mean, that program, would that entitle her, let's say she could get a job, would that entitle her to some daycare
No,
for
ma'am.
children?
No, ma'am.
Okay, their school.
That's what-
Theoretically, they would be in school.
Yes, ma'am. They would be in school like they are now. And so she's on a waiting list as well for the daycare. She's on a waiting list for the different housing help as well. It's just nothing's open right now. And she's been on the waiting list.
What is the likelihood that these 3 children will be placed together?
I don't have an answer for that. You know, St. Francis is the placement agency, so
I think there's very little chance that they would be placed together. I could be wrong.
Well, if the 2 younger children remained with mom at Faith City, I mean, you know, I hate to split the children up, but I'm looking for the least disruption, you know, to the entire family or to the children. But if they could remain with the mother, then would it be sort of like Salvation Army? I assume they could catch the bus to school.
that's something that I would have to talk to the families in transition. But I'm sure it's possible.
I'm guessing because they've got other children there, so I'm guessing they probably could, so they could remain in the same school.
Yes, ma'am.
And it would be much easier to find placement for one than three locally.
Clearly. The children have, I mean, throughout your investigation, the children have been physically in good shape, have been clothed, have been clean, and have been attending school for the most part, correct?
That's correct, and they've been provided by the school. The school has been the one people that are providing the clothes, the hygiene items and different things like that, not mom.
But she's accessed resources for these things for the children.
Yes, ma'am.
There's not been any sign of abuse or neglect of the children.
No, ma'am.
But this sounds like a silly question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway because it's a pivotal question. But do you believe that there would be an immediate danger to the physical health or safety of the children if they're left in the care of their mother at this point in time?
Yes, ma'am, because they will be sleeping at a park. I mean, that's what the kids have told me, that prior to them getting on October the 13th, they had been sleeping in Meddy Park, sleeping on the grass, not being fed on the weekends. And also they had been staying behind an abandoned house up the street from us. And I believe that's where law enforcement originally found them and took them to family support services. And again, they're not being fed on the weekends because mom does not have any source of income or money. And so
the immediate danger is not necessarily from mother, but it's the immediate danger is from being in the elements. I mean,
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
October 28th in the Texas Panhandle.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
are beginning to see cold temperatures.
That's correct.
They are out available to whomever, whatever might come upon them.
Yes, ma'am.
There is no home to leave them in with the mother at this point in time.
That's
Unless
correct.
we look at this situation with Faith City Mission. We've explored all family placements that we know about or have been told about.
That's correct.
Do you believe, Ms. Ponce, that you've made all reasonable efforts consistent with this situation to avoid illegal removal of any of the children?
I do believe I have. I've been working with the 3 other agencies pretty much daily trying to figure something out for this family. And so I do believe I've done everything so far and have not been able to find a place for them.
Okay. Let me ask your supervisor, Ms. Jones,
Yes, Judge.
if you'll raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give will be the truth today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Jones, do you have anything to add to this or anything that you can think of?
I don't. We did make those additional calls that were requested by the court. We didn't get any additional information. We do feel like mother is estranged from her mother, and that would be a dangerous situation, even if she would entertain the idea of having the family there. We do know that the Coming Home program has stuck their neck out for this family and begged for extensions, and that has been abided with, and the family has stayed there up until today. We knew last week that last night was the last night of security for the children, and we do feel like we've exhausted our efforts to keep his family intact and without legal intervention.
So are we reasonably certain that if we deliver mom to Faith City Mission with the 6-year-old and the 9-year-old, that she and those 2 children can remain there?
based
Yep.
on what Melissa Ponce's told me, I do believe that, I don't know if they have an opening. I don't know that we explored that, but we've been told that their policy prevents them from taking male children over the age of 10. Provided they have an opening, I would think that they would, be secured there.
Would the department agree that that might be the least restrictive thing to do as far as removal is concerned, and only at this point in time, only remove the older child for his safety and really for the entire family's safety?
Well, if the court's entertaining that, then we would. I don't like kids split from each other. But I know that the family would be partially intact. And you know, I don't know what the timeframe of staying at the Bay City Missions would be, but if she's on a home housing list and she's making concerted efforts with the support to do that, then yes.
My additional concern is that you all been working with her and other agencies have been working with her for a substantial amount of time now, with apparently no progress towards stability. I read her mother has some physical health, and again, I don't want to go into details, but there's some physical medical problems. Are we aware of any kind of mental health problems that mom has?
I'm not aware, maybe Ms. Ponce is, but not to my knowledge.
No, I'm not aware of any mental health issues for the mother. It's just the medical issue that's currently not being addressed.
Does mother speak, read or write English?
She does.
Okay. So finding a job might be a little bit easier for her than if she did not.
Yes, ma'am. And I believe Family Support Services, they have taken her over to the workforce several times in order to try to get her, you know, interviews and things like that. She just has not gotten a job yet. And I think the concern with that is, you know, what she would do with them, you know, if she was able to get a job, you know, on the weekend as well, because she doesn't have anybody else to watch her children.
She could at least work during the hours that the children were at school. I know that may restrict what jobs she could apply for, but at least something even part-time. Ms. Ponce, how long do you think it would take you to find out for sure that yes, that Faith City could take her, that there would be a bed for her and the two children? And what length of time would she be eligible to stay there?
I can make a quick phone call to Heather Neely and speak to her regarding this and have an answer probably within the next 10 minutes.
Okay, we're all gonna just sit tight for a few minutes while you do that. Ms. Zavala, while she's doing that, you may be at a distinct disadvantage here, but I don't know whether you had an opportunity to even look at the affidavit.
I did, and I apologize for my casual attire. I had kids visits scheduled for today, and I'm so sorry. The are you asking if I had any follow-up questions or concerns?
Well, I'll wait till she officially she comes back. I just was asking if you had actually had an opportunity to even look at this.
I
So,
have. I've read over it and had a question or two.
okay, all right. Well, we want to take your questions, and then if you've got any input. I was gonna say useful input, but your input is generally useful, so
I don't know about that.
no. And I'm sorry to interrupt whatever you probably had scheduled today.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna go meet with a whole bunch of kids out at High Plains as soon as we're done.
Okay, I'm double checking. I'm supposed to be back in a. Okay. I'm supposed to be in a regional thing at 4:30, so I'm good for 15 minutes, or 20 probably. But it's something I need to be in. Lots of talk about our numbers.
Judge. I contacted Heather with the Coming Home program, and she was able to give me the number for Faith City Mission and a contact person, but I've tried 3 times and nobody is answering the phone.
Okay. There was mention, and I don't remember now whether it was in the affidavit or whether it was in some of the follow-up information, Ms. Ponce, that you gave me, but that the children had missed some school because mom was holding them out so that she could stay over at Guion Sanders Resource Center in the family area. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. She would switch a child, and keep them out of school in order for her to stay in the family daytime center. And so then she would, send that child to school or whatever, and then pull out another child to that as well. At that center, she is criminally trespassed and cannot be on the premises there due to a physical altercation with another resident there.
All right, and then there was, I guess, also some information that she had missed several appointments, and I don't remember if it was with which agency, but that she'd missed a number of somewhat critical or potentially very, helpful appointments.
Yes, ma'am. She missed the 4 appointments with Heather Neely, the Coming Home program, and this was months ago, which, she could have been able to get on, and be on the waiting list and maybe not be in the situation now. She did make this last appointment with Heather, and they got the intake done and completed and things like that, but she had missed 4 appointments prior, which could have resolved this issue that we're currently in.
Is mother aware of how critical this situation has become?
Yes, ma'am, she's fully aware of the situation. I've explained it several times to her, as well as Family Support Services has explained it to her. And as of last Monday, the 20th, she was preparing her children to come into foster care.
Okay. Here's what I want to do for right now. I'm going to authorize the legal removal of the oldest child and find that there is an immediate danger to the physical health or safety of that child. Not due to abuse or neglect, but just standing on its face that there is an immediate danger to the physical health or safety of the child being on the street. Assuming Faith City Mission will take mom and the 2 younger children, then I'm limiting it to the oldest child. If they won't take mom and the 2 younger children, I find that I've got no other real recourse other than to remove all 3 children. So I know we've got to get an answer to that before you all submit an actual order to me, because we got to know whether we're talking about 1 or 3. But to save us from having to regroup and get everybody, who knows, after hours or whenever. obviously, like I said, there's no home to continue, leaving the children in, and so that's clearly contrary to the well-being and welfare of the children, that there is no home. I would also make that finding. We obviously do not have time to, conduct a full adversary hearing before this decision is made. I find that the department has made all reasonable efforts to avoid the removal of one or all of the children. But we've not been able to establish any appropriate family. We've not been able to contact any of the named fathers. All of our normal recourse and our resources for a family that's experiencing a homeless situation have been exhausted at this time. At least anything within our region. So not just Amarillo, but obviously Panhandle wide. So I think all of these things constitute an immediate danger to one or all of the children.
Yes, ma'am. And Judge, Heather Neely from the Coming Home program is gonna try to reach out for the pasture over there to try to get somebody to call me back from there immediately.
Okay. If it becomes absolutely necessary due to the time of day or evening, and there is nowhere for mom and children to stay tonight, I mean, I will go ahead and authorize the removal of the 3 children. If we can't get an answer from Faith City, we can always dismiss children out of a proceeding. So I know this is very unusual, Ms. McCluskey. And I see Mr. Groff is logged in, and I'm sure his head is just spinning, on a.
It is, Judge, but I think it's really different circumstances. This isn't the sort of thing we come across very often, where actually all the resources that we know of and that anybody who can help us knows of have already been exhausted.
Yeah.
I would concur, Judge. This is an impossible scenario, and I appreciate your compassion in trying to find a way to limit the damage. I think everybody's tried really hard from what I can tell. I'm new to the dance, but I'm familiar with the family just because of the prior case. And so, yeah, I appreciate you taking the time out during the conference to thoughtfully address the issues.
That's no problem at all, but I mean, it's been on my mind all day since I saw it, but I think that ideally what I'd love is if we could get them into some housing. What I'd love to do with this case is then just see if we can't get it to a TFF case. Where we've got people coming in and working with her and actively working with her to help her grasp how, it's now or never this is a now or never kind of situation for her with hanging on to these children. But I think this would be a day at a time kind of situation. So, okay, I know that's a very odd order, but like I said, Ms. Zavala, I apologize. I sort of glossed over. I know you had some questions. I want you to ask your questions.
Actually, I think you covered them. Some of the things that caught my attention in the affidavit was those missed meetings. And it seemed like that was action on mom's part, that she could have prevented this situation. So I was going to ask some follow-up questions on that. I think that's been answered. Did I read somewhere that maybe there are some shelters that she is not allowed to go to because she is banned from there.
It's the Guyon Center.
Oh,
She is trespassed from there for getting into a physical fight with another resident there.
Okay.
So that doesn't limit us as far as housing or staying at night, because that's only one resource to go to during the daytime, so. Okay,
I think those were all of my follow-up questions and you covered them, so.
Ms. Zavala, I know that you know, we will be naming you, obviously, as the children's ad litem when I sign the order, but do you have any recommendation or suggestion that you think would be better for these children?
Not that I know of. I also hate the thought of splitting up the kids, but based on what we've seen in terms of placement, and I know no one's on the screen from St. Francis placement, but what we've seen in all the other recent cases, I would be shocked if there is anything that keeps the three of them together and in this area. So while I hate removing the oldest child only, the odds of being able to keep him close, potentially keep him, you know, connected with the family seems to be way more if we're only dealing with one person, you know, one child and trying to keep them local. So I would never recommend that they be separated, but my fear is that's the situation we would be in anyways. You know, I would love to be proved wrong on that. And if they don't have a place at Faith City, I guess we will find out. And I hope I'm wrong. And that they can all be together. But I assume if they're gonna all be together, it may be Houston. I don't know. 'Cause
Yeah, that's not helpful.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just spent my afternoon listening to a lot of things about placements.
Yeah.
Okay, all right then, I appreciate everybody's time and, I'll let everybody get back to doing what they need to do. Ms. Ponce, truly, I think you've done a remarkable job on this. You know, and I know whoever, you know, has assisted you, Ms. Jones, you know, I think you guys have done a great job really turning over the stones. I just wish that there was some way different around this, but it is somewhat unusual in that we have completely exhausted, you know, our resources. And I know that I wouldn't feel safe sleeping out at Meta Park. And there's no reason in the world for me to think that 3 children should be safe with a single on.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge,
Okay.
would you give us that cause number again, please, ma'am?
Hang on, I gotta switch screens just a second.
Thank you.
I'm not good on just one screen. I usually have 3 in front of me. Okay, it's 100457 DFM.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
could, at your convenience this evening, could I get the judge's notes? I believe I missed 1 or 2 of the statements you wanted in the order, and I will look late into the evening for those notes at your convenience.
I will get to them as soon as I can wrap up I've got to go do this regional session, so, they're running about 10 minutes late, so I'm gonna get there here just in the nick of time, but Ms. Reeves, I will get that information to you as soon as I can.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, appreciate it. Thank you so much. And email is the best way to get me if somebody has a follow-up or something. I think everybody's probably got it. Y'all just feel free to email me.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank y'all very much. Everybody have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.